School of Management Studies IGNOU presents an audiobook on the course MMPC 003 Business Environment for MBA program. Presenting Block 1 Introduction to Business Environment, Unit 3 Socio-Cultural and Politico-Legal Environment, Part 2. Political environment. You understand that business, though by its very nature is an economic activity, but the business managers, in order to stay effective, have to consider the non-economic environment of the business too. In this direction, we have understood the socio-cultural environmental component in the previous part of this unit. Here we would understand another important component, that is the politico-legal environment of business. A political system is assumed to be having the qualitative prerequisites such as being stable, honest, efficient and dynamic. Democracy brings in the political participation of the citizens, thereby providing them personal security, which in turn contributes for growth of any business in a country. In a political system, the role of government as a political institution is to formulate social policies aimed to deliver on high social benefits at minimum social cost. The government thus facilitates business by making decisions and supporting the economic activity in the form of health, infrastructure, education, law and order, etc., implemented on different levels like local, regional, national or international. The political environment comprises of many political factors which affect the business activities at various times and impact like the bureaucracy levels, corruption, freedom of media and press, tariffs and related measures of trade control, employment regulation, environmental and pollution control laws, health and social safety laws, competition regulation and cartelization, tax policy, that is tax rates and incentives, trade unionism and related laws, consumerism, e-commerce and related laws about the quality and quantity of the product, intellectual property law, that is copyright, patents, etc. All this is done based on the ideology of the ruling party in the government, which attains it by formulating and executing them under a set of policies and programs. This is attained through legislations and enactments, rules and regulations, systems and procedures, policies and plans, statements and announcements, directives and guidelines by the government, which is the essence of the politico-legal environment. Elements of political environment. Let us identify the crucial elements of political environment. Number 1. Political ideologies. Political ideologies are the mix of multifaceted ideas, philosophies and objectives which is the foundation of the political parties. Most of the political organizations are politically diverse due to the members of organizations having diverse backgrounds. Political ideologies can differ due to multicultural environment in the country. People belonging to different social groups, ethnicities, communities, economic class or religion can have different ideologies. These variations impact people to join or support different political parties. Harmony among different political ideologies is necessary to maintain peace and stability within a country. Number 2. Democracy. Democracy has been a fundamental part of India's progress and growth story and has helped in binding people from different cultural background and regions. A democratic environment ensures equal political and legal rights to each and every citizen of a nation. It ensures freedom of speech, expression and opinion. Since every citizen cannot decide for himself or herself, therefore, countries practice a system of elected representatives. The elected representatives formulate laws for a nation. These representatives are elected by the people of the nation. Democracy also ensures a fair and independent judiciary. Number 3. Civil liberties. Civil liberties ensure the provision of freedom and fundamental rights to every citizen. These include freedom to press, equality before law, personal and social freedom, and freedom from biased government policies. Countries with high civil liberties are considered to be free and are more preferred by companies for investments. More liberal countries ensure fair judicial trials in case of disputes and hence are preferred by business organizations. Number 4. International political relations. Political relations and diplomacy with foreign nations results in more avenues for trade and business, which in turn creates multilateral or bilateral trade opportunities. For example, trade pacts between USA and India have resulted in several development opportunities for both the nations. Political friendship among different nations creates a favorable environment for international trade and commerce. Number 5. Political stability. Political stability is crucial for growth and development of any economy. Political instability can hinder the flow of foreign capital and adversely affects foreign investments in the country. For instance, clashes between two groups in a region can cause adverse effects on the economic activities in that area. Number 6. Government policy. Stable policies are better for planning corporate strategies and building up confidence in the industry. Policies formulated with clear directions can support better economic development. Legal environment. Legal environment of any country deals with rules, regulations, policies, and the law of the land as a whole. These laws are made for the protection of consumers, investors, environment, and national interest. For example, there are several organizations like SEBI, Consumer Commissions, or National Green Tribunal, that is NGT in India, for the enforcement of such laws. Further, the legal environment of a country also includes taxation laws and annual budgets. The changes in government policies such as trade policies, industrial policies, fiscal and monetary policies can have a great effect on the business. For example, by increasing the limits of permissible FDIs in the retail sector has led to the emergence of global e-commerce companies, while at the same time it has been seen as the threat to local vendors with increasing markets for e-commerce. Elements of legal environment. Elements of the legal systems include the laws, rules, and regulations applicable in the country. As per Rao, it includes number 1. Common law. Law is implemented according to the situation and the prevailing customs, traditions, culture, etc. Number 2. Civil law. They are the detailed set of laws formulated, discussed, and passed by the Parliament. For example, Contract Act, Company Law, and Civil Codes. Number 3 is theoretical law. These are the laws derived out of the religious laws in the country. Number 4, property rights. Number 5, intellectual property rights. Number 6, labor laws and codes. Number 7, fiscal and monetary policy. Number 8, competition law. And number 9, foreign exchange laws like FEMA and FERA Act. We will discuss all these legal framework in the following section in detail. Evaluation of politico-legal environment. Political and legal environment plays an integral role in the economy. A favorable politico-legal environment is crucial for growth and survival of business. These factors govern the entry of foreign firms in the domestic market of the country. Government and allied agencies act as a regulator of foreign companies where government policies are considered to be gatekeepers. Political ideologies of the ruling party are also important for creating a favorable business environment. A pro-business ideology will lead to more opportunities for foreign investment in the country. Likewise, legal environment draws the perimeter of the permissible trade and commerce activities within the geographical boundaries of a country. Business organizations are required to operate within the legal framework. Due to the rapid increase in globalization and flexible FDI policies, several laws are created to protect the interest of domestic traders in India. Business organizations are required to have full knowledge about the trade laws, rules and related policies. Moreover, the increasing complexity of legal environment can cause difficulties in the business operations. Increased concern about the environmental protection and sustainability has led to the creation of environmental protection laws. Failure of implementing these laws will not only lead to governmental actions but will also affect the image of the business adversely. Hence, favorable politico-legal environment is necessary for a stable economic growth and development. Political instability can create social unrest, which in turn can hamper local businesses in the area. For example, roadways being blocked as protest sites can hamper the supply chains. Current scenario of politico-legal environment. Boost to manufacturing. Government has given a boost to manufacturing activities in the country through Make in India campaign. Under this campaign, government created conducive environment for doing business. In order to boost manufacturing in India, government has set up panels to fast-track investment proposals, addressing problems in investment process and creating an investor-friendly environment in the country. Efforts are being made to make India a manufacturing hub and creating more employment opportunities for the locals. In the recent times, several multinational companies have set up production facilities in India. Changes in industrial policies. Several policy changes have been made in the recent past to ease the entry of foreign investments in the country. Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, that is DIPP, has made efforts to make policies more flexible and simplified, including infusing technology into various processes for effective and efficient governance. For instance, application for industrial licenses has been made online, which has made it more accessible. Business reforms. Several reforms are being undertaken at state as well as center level to make significant improvements in the way business operates in India. The government has introduced various initiatives to ease doing business in India. India has been placed at 63rd position on World Bank's Doing Business 2020. For instance, Government of India has increased the limit of FDIs in insurance and defense sectors and thereby attracting more foreign capital in the country. This will lead to creation of employment and overall economic development. Bank mergers. In the past few years, government has decided to merge certain public sector banks to reduce the number of nationalized banks and improve the quality of governance. The number of national banks has been reduced from 27 banks to 12 public sector banks. Infrastructure development. The current government has taken several steps for the modernization and development of infrastructure in the country. The focus is not only on the urban cities, but several Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities have also been developed as the part of a scheme named as Smart Cities. The government has announced to develop 100 cities as smart cities, under which many industrial corridors are to be built. Several other projects in different sectors like green energy, transportation, and real estate have been planned. These planned projects will create future business opportunities and foreign collaborations. Skill development programs. Indian government launched Skill India movement in 2015 with an aim to provide skill-based education to the youth of the country. The program focused at imparting vocational training with a vision to empower workforce suitable for skill-based jobs. For example, Seekho or Kamao was scheme launched for the youth of Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, under which they were trained according to their qualifications and given employment opportunities in the state. Such initiatives were planned to reduce the dependency on white-collar jobs and encourage skill-based employment. Government framework for promoting business. In the role of the government to support business and related economic activity, a robust supportive mechanism is required to be provided in promoting a sustainable institutional structure. Let us understand the selected government-supported organizational setups. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry has the responsibility to manage and promote the industrial and commercial activity in the country. It formulates industrial policy which provides with the planned framework of promoting industrial development in sync with the economic goals of the nation. The Niti Aayog, Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship all contribute in the attainment of their individual, that is, promotional, regulatory, technical and advisory goals. The Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, that is DPIIT. The department was earlier called Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion and was renamed as DPIIT in January 2019. The department functions on matters related to internal trade, welfare of traders and their employees, and startups. The role of DPIIT is to promote and accelerate industrial development of the country by facilitating investment in new and upcoming technology, foreign direct investment, and support balanced development of industries. The Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, that is DPIIT, spearheads the Ease of Doing Business initiative, which provides a carpet welcome to the foreign investments to India. This involved providing time-based and single-window clearances towards establishing business in our country. The department also promotes Startup India Initiative and Production-Linked Incentive, that is PLI scheme. The Department of Commerce regulates, number 1, international trade. Policy-related matters involving various tariff and non-tariff barriers, issues related to the WTO, their interpretation and implementation, besides the dispute settlement redressal mechanism. This further involves strengthening the bilateral and multilateral trade by international commodity agreements. Number 2, foreign trade, goods and services. They include tasks related to external trade and relevant matters, import and export of feature films as well as unexposed cine films. This also involves establishing agricultural export zone, that is AEZ, and 100% export-oriented units, that is EOUs, for boosting manufacturing and promoting external trade by suitably amending the related policy and regulatory framework from time to time. Aimed at promoting international trade relations, it attains the objective through bodies like Export Promotion Board, Board of Trade and International Trade Advisory Committee, and Export Promotion Councils or Export Promotion Organizations. State Trading Corporation or STC also facilitates the said objective of trade promotion. Number 3, Special Economic Zones, that is SEZ. Fostering economic development with SEZs is a relatively new way of attaining industrial as well as foreign trade growth. This includes providing a favorable policy environment, further comprising a conducive foreign trade policy, a supportive fiscal regime, and an attractive investment policy, etc. This is achieved by an organized structure and subordinate offices under the department. Number 1, under certain departments, which are number 1, Directorate General of Anti-Dumping and Allied Duties, DGAD, Directorate General of Foreign Trade, DGFT, and number 3, Directorate General of Supplies and Disposals, DGS&D. Number 1, Directorate General of Anti-Dumping and Allied Duties, DG&D. Number 2, Directorate General of Foreign Trade, that is DGFT. And number 3, Directorate General of Supplies and Disposals, that is DGS&D. And finally, there are statutory or autonomous bodies or public sector undertakings and other organizations like Agricultural and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority like APEDA, Coffee Board, Export Inspection Council of India, that is EIC, Rubber Board, Spices Board, Tea Board, the Marine Products Export Development Authority, that is MPEDA, and Tobacco Board. Public sector undertakings include ECGC, that is Export Credit Guarantee Corporation of India Limited, ITPO, that is India Trade Promotion Organization, MMPC Limited, formerly Minerals and Metals Trading Corporation of India Limited, PEC Limited, formerly the Projects and Equipment Corporation of India Limited, STC Limited, that is State Trading Corporation of India Limited, and STCL Limited, formerly Spices Trading Corporation Limited. Of the many acts applicable under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry regime, Special Economic Zones Act 2005 carries a mention here. The Tariff Commission. Tariff Commission in India got created by the Union of the Tariff Board, Tariff Commission Old, and Bureau of Industrial Cost and Prices, that is BICP. BICP got combined with it for better functioning with effect from 1st of April 1999. Niti Aayog, that is National Institution for Transforming India. It was in 2014 that the Niti Aayog, which is National Institution for Transforming India, constituted for enhancing the developmental process, nurture an overall business enabling environment extending from the realms of public sector and Government of India. This involved more coordinated role with the state governments, thereby strategically fostering good governance, best practices, providing strategic expertise and coordination with all levels of the government, that is central as well as the state, for the collective attainment of developmental goals. Public-private participation, that is PPP. The PPP vertical is assigned with the various activities involving the policy formulation for ensuring that the desired objectives for timely creating the infrastructure to promulgate the economic growth and development. The PPP vertical is assigned with the various activities involving the policy formulation for ensuring that the desired objectives for timely creating the infrastructure to promulgate the economic growth and development. Such projects, being capital intensive in nature, requires regular capital infusion and management. Thus, the PPP becomes the choice for construction, operations and management of the infrastructure projects. For Niti Aayog, the PPP remains evolutionary in terms that it remains reform-oriented by suggesting institutional, regulatory and procedural changes. By process and document standardization, the subsequent appraisal of PPP projects becomes easy, thus resulting in higher FDI in such developmental projects. The Ministry of Finance. It was reorganized in the year 1949 into two departments, namely the Department of Revenue and Expenditure and Department of Economic Affairs. Presently, the Ministry of Finance has 5 departments, which are Department of Economic Affairs, Department of Expenditure, Department of Revenue, Department of Financial Services, Department of Investment and Public Asset Management, and Department of Public Enterprises. The Department of Economic Affairs assists the central government in maintaining sound public finances through efficient use of the nation's economic resources, promoting conditions that accelerate sustainable economic growth through developing sound economic policies and preparing for future economic challenges and opportunities, and leading India's bilateral and multilateral economic and financial engagements. It manages the matter with its institutions like Security Printing and Minting Corporation of India Limited, National Savings Institute, Securities and Exchange Board of India, Securities Appellate Tribunal, Specified Undertaking of the Unit Trust of India and National Financial Holding Company Limited, National Skill Development Corporation, National Skill Development Fund or Trust, National Skill Development Agency, Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor Trust and Forward Markets Commission. Fiscal and Monetary Policy. These two policies formulate the financial framework of the nation. Monetary and credit policy is formulated by the Reserve Bank of India, by which it aims at bringing in price stability, control inflation and regulate liquidity of the nation's economy. This is achieved through various instruments like managing the money supply and other policy matter changes from time to time. Through the banking system, it regulates liquidity and interest rates and loan offtakes for spurring industrial growth. With the monetary policy, the RBI strikes a balance between maintaining liquidity and credit or loan offtake by regulating between lending and borrowing rates of interest for the commercial banks. This is achieved through careful assessment of the business environment and then attaining the objectives with deployment of its instruments like bank rate of interest, cash reserve ratio, statutory liquidity ratio, open market operations, margin requirements, deficit financing, and printing of currency and credit regulation. It strives for establishing a price stability to overcome the fluctuations which may deter the market sentiments, especially in the foreign trade. This generates national economic growth and aids in employment generation too. The fiscal policy is the nation's revenue and expenditure policy by which it plans to strike the balance between the ever-growing needs and the limited resources availability in the country. It indicates the prioritization in the several governmental purchases and taxes. It is done by virtue of its thrifty nature by promoting saving and investments in order to maximize the demand, which stands important in not only providing economic stability but also aids in the time of recession. This is achieved through careful assessment, budget provisioning and limiting the government expenditure, tax management, that is direct, indirect and new taxes, wage control, public debt and maintaining surplus budget, etc. On one side, the monetary policy acts by altering money supply and the interest rates. The fiscal policy aims for bringing in much needed price stability by carefully and continuously managing between the incomes and the expenditures of the country in order to provide a conducive and stable environment for providing economic growth, overcoming recession, and generating opportunities for employment, infrastructure building, law and order, education, etc. You were listening to the audiobook by the School of Management Studies IGNOU for MBA program. Course code MMPC 002 Human Resource Management. Course Coordinator Professor Nayantara Padhi from School of Management Studies IGNOU. Voiceover by Harpreet Kaur. Edited by Ruchi Sharma. Program assisted by Tarannum Jahan. Program produced by Dr. Manoj Kumar Singh. This program was brought to you by Electronic Media Production Center of Indira Gandhi National Open University.